My friends, there's a very big deception that goes around in the hearts of human beings, see, and these are predominantly Christians. See, the deception is that they deceive themselves to believe that their own will is God's will. See, and this is not true. I spent 8 years working for a Christian organization, and in these 8 years the things that I saw were just unbelievable. You see, what are some of the examples of the things that I saw? I saw many Christians gathering together in Jesus' name. The problem is that name was just external, but they had gathered together to enact their own motives and their own intentions and their own desires. This is one example. And at the end of it, it was for other reasons that they were gathering. See, most of the churches that I went to, that they were all gathering for the wrong reasons. They were gathering to fulfill the agenda of the organization and not the agenda of Jesus Christ. Many mission trips that people went on, you know, who they borrowing money and going in debt in order to go on these missions so they can put on their resume. It was for their own intentions and for their own self-preservation. You see, for their future in the Christian industry. You see, many people came, God told me this, God told me that, God told me this. You hear many women telling you God told them this, that they're going to be married to you, and all these other kind of things. Meantime, my friends, they got married to people and they got divorced, even in some cases a few months later. Now, which God was this, and who was the liar? You see, now when you go through this day in and day out, and you see what people are doing, what they said, God told me to be with so and so because, you know, for example, I knew one woman that she told me that God told her to marry a paraplegic, and so they were together. And then she wanted to go to a particular university, and he couldn't make it there. He had to go to another one. So what happened is that now, you know, they were engaged, and she broke the engagement because she said that you know, it wasn't God's will. So what you're saying is that what she didn't realize is she was saying that she's the liar. You see, and that whole charade of being put together to a handicapped guy was also that she can tell people, oh, how such a good person she is. You see. So my friends, so many people, God told me that, you know, you're going to buy this. God told me, it's like a salesman. You see, they come to you acting like they care for you. Oh yeah, wow, how was your day? All these words are bought and sold for the pursuit of money. They want your money. They want you to sign away for something that's not even worth half the amount that they're asking for. You see? So they're coming to you acting like they're your friend, but they're not. You see? So many Christians come to you, you know, in Jesus' name, and they come to you quoting verses and scriptures and telling you all these things but they're saying these things to get what they want. You see, and that's what they've been taught. That's what this whole system teaches you, is that you say things to get what you want. And you quote so and so, or quote this and quote that to get what you want, to fulfill your own agenda. And many people can do that and have done that. Have I done this? Yes. You see, did I pay for it? Yes. It was wrong. You see? So, and there are very few people like honest people who tell you, hey, I don't want to do God's will. You see, I want to do my own thing. You see? Very, very few people will say that because they want to win everywhere. You see, and the problem is when you're like that, then you win nowhere. So this is the thing. So like I was saying, I was part of many of these gatherings where people would be praying and doing all these shows that you see people. I've been around it for a long time, you know. And then all of a sudden their motives were not pure. Their motives were not for God. They were for other things. You see, there's a lot of deception in your own heart and in my own heart. And the only way we can know what is right and wrong, what is the right motive wrong, is if we submit all these things to the Spirit of God. To truly follow the Spirit of God, you need to be a broken person. Not just say, I'm broken with your mouth. You see, or you've been broken before, but you've been filled with the wrong things, with the things that run the world, but you're using Christian verses. You see, and you're using Christian jargon. My friend, this is not the way forward. You see, this is doing what you want to do, but you're just camouflaging yourself. And at the end, we will all stand before God, before Jesus Christ, to prove who we are. You see, it's not, you're not going to stand before me. I'm not going to stand before you. We're going to stand before the consuming fire. You see, and that is why we have to know Him. Many people are saying things that, we need to do this and we need to do that, but they're all saying it out of the timing of the Spirit of God. See, I knew people, they'll get together, next thing you know, is so-and-so is sleeping with so-and-so, so-and-so is doing this, or choir leader is sleeping with so-and-so. You see, the other person is doing this, the other person is doing that. Oh, so-and-so were involved in this kind of, fraud or this or that. You see, my friends, all these things, they all got together they claim to be in Jesus' name. But all that was just with their lips. Their hearts were far away. Their hearts were filled with getting together the way the world gets together. See, now people think that the ways of the world are so beautiful and righteous. I'm talking about Christians. You see, and the truth is that if you go to the roots of those things, you realize it's only darkness. You see, and that the world is in need of light. The problem is that the world doesn't want it doesn't want the light because it exposes the deeds, and then they have to admit that they've made all these mistakes, and our human ancestry has made all kinds of mistakes, and then you have to repent. You see, but the problem is that human beings love darkness. And the kind of darkness they love is where they appear to be light on the surface level, but in the depth of who they are, they're just darkness. But my friends, Jesus goes to the depths of who we are. As your relationship gets stronger and stronger with Him, you keep going to deeper and deeper places with Him, and then it becomes exposed what needs to change and what doesn't. You see? So the truth is, my friends, is that we need to stop camouflaging these things and submit all our intentions and motives to the Spirit of God. Stop trying to do our own thing. I see many people, they did so many things for God. They claim to be doing so many things for God, but they're far away from God. They're doing it their own things. Churches are doing their own agendas. Mission fields are doing their own missions and making money off of that, actually. The people on the top levels, they're all making money off of it. Because all those kids are going on missions, they are borrowing money. You see, you get in debt and paying these people exorbitant amounts to go and do something that is their own will and spread that spirit behind what they're doing. You see? So it's not so much as what you say and do, it's the spirit behind what you're doing and what you're saying that matters the most. See, people say they walk the walk and talk the talk, but guess what? You walk the walk and talk the talk that is submitted to the Spirit of God. You see? You follow after the heart that is submitted to the Spirit of God, and such a heart will be broken. It doesn't trust in the flesh, in its own ways. I don't trust in myself. Am I tempted to do so? Yes. Have I done it before? Yes. It's wrong. That's the bottom line. That's why we should not be following other human beings. You see, we have to follow Jesus Christ because He's the only one that can fulfill all our actions, words, thoughts, intentions, and give us the peace. Peace has to come from Him. You see, if you don't get peace from Jesus Christ, then you don't go there. You don't do that. You see? And that's what people, they don't have this relationship with Jesus Christ. They hear their own voices, they hear their own hearts, and God delivers you up to this deception because that's what you want. You wanted to follow the ways of your own heart, so God delivers you up to that, and it's a very dangerous place to be. You see, He delivers you up to deceiving spirits. Many of the prophets of old, the ones who were wrong, God gave them up to deceiving spirits. So they heard something, but it was not the Spirit of God. And many of them spoke out of their own hearts. You see? Enacting their own will. Peter, who told Jesus, when Jesus said he was going to die, he said, no, this is not going to happen. What did Jesus say to Peter? Satan, get behind me. Why? Why did he say that? He said that because even Peter was trying to do his own thing. He did not submit himself to the Spirit of God. Those words are not submitted. You see? And he's the same person that also denied Jesus Christ 3 times. Now many people will say, I will never deny Jesus Christ. My friends, if you're saying this in false humility, you need to be very careful. You see? There was one time that, I've been asked before, if I would do something, and I told God no. And I because I looked at the might of the situation, that God, how mighty it was to be able to do something, and I realized in my own strength I would failure. I said, only Lord is in your strength that I can do that. See, so we should not be playing around with words. You see, we should not start claiming to be one thing when you're not that. You want something else from that. You see? You're using the Jesus label, and you're using the verses and the scriptures in order to get what you want. You see, manipulation is not of God. And human beings, we are very manipulative. We try and manipulate ourselves to get what we want, and manipulate the situation and other people. Why do you do that? Because that's what the world teaches. But it camouflages it as well. See? Oh, that's the way. That's how it's done. You see? My friends, manipulation is not of God. It's witchcraft. You see? So, Jesus said, what was in secret, we did it in the open. So everything that was within him came out. There was no contradiction. He didn't camouflage the words. See? So, let's not confuse the two. Our own will and the will of God. Many people are doing their own will, but think they're in the will of God. They are not. They're doing their own thing. Some people claim to be this and claim to be that. You see, you've got to be honest with yourself. If God wants you to do something, then, my friends, He's going to make a way for it to happen. See, and the path of following God, see, it's not a wide path. It's very few people who truly gather together to please Jesus Christ, or who truly want to follow Jesus Christ. They're very, very few people. There are many who claim on a superficial surface level to follow Jesus Christ, but they're very far away from Him. You see, have I been in this situation before? Yes. The difference with me is I never claimed to be really following Jesus Christ. You see, the way that people have been claiming. There were times in my life where I just told God, I was in a club or somewhere, and I told God, I said, please, I know I'm doing wrong, forgive me. You see, and people used to think I'm crazy. I mean, I used to go away, but people will see me, I'm talking to God. You see, so I knew that, hey man, I'm doing the wrong things. I'm not here to start going to church after that and throwing my hands up and in praise and worship and fake tears coming out. No, which is what I saw. I saw people praising and worshiping God, and the nights before they were in the clubs. They were sleeping around, they were doing all kinds of things. You see? So I've seen all of it. All this is their own will, because that's not how God operates. God's Spirit doesn't operate in that stuff. You see? It operates in truth. When the truth goes into your heart and separates the lies from what is right, into the soul, the bones and marrow. See? And that's why that everything we do has to be submitted to His will. First in your heart, the deepest place in your heart. So your motives, intentions, and thoughts, inner thoughts, align with that of the Spirit of God. So when you submit like this, then you can't go wrong. See?